What's going on, y'all? Today we got who NBA players think is the GOAT. Let's get into it.
Best basketball player ever. Who do NBA players themselves say is the GOAT? Now, it's definitely no doubt that recently drafted Zion Williamson is going to be one of the biggest names in spotlights all year long. And with that being said, last season while making headlines and labeled as the next LeBron, he was actually asked who the basketball GOAT to him was. And Zion had a lot to say about the constant debates of MJ, LeBron, and Kobe. He said, me personally, I'd go with Jordan. I don't know, it's all my opinion, but Jordan was my GOAT. Like, that's what my parents taught me. When Zion was asked about Kobe in particular, he said, Kobe's obviously up there, but I'm gonna go with Jordan. That's my pick. LeBron and Kobe are probably tied for second because it's hard to compare them. What LeBron is doing, nobody else has done that. But for me, that's what I grew up watching. I think what people grew up on, that's what they're gonna pick. Now, Kevin Durant recently sat down with Darius Miles on a podcast where the two went over various topics about basketball. But the more interesting question came when Darius asked Durant who his top 5 players of all time was, and KD said Mike Jordan, obviously at 1, Kobe Bryant 2, Shaq O'Neal 3, Hakeem Olajuwon 4, Magic Johnson. Just the way they move, I don't understand why people don't realize what they're seeing in these, especially Jordan and Kobe. I get to play with Steph every day, so I know his game inside and out. But watching Kobe and Mike, I'm like, how do you not realize how good these dudes are? How do you not say they're by far better than anybody who's played the game? Just by the way they move, how fluid they are. Everybody that comes to my house, whether it's friends or family, I make them watch Jordan highlights. This is equivalent to Albert Einstein, Beethoven, or Barack Obama. This is the greatest talent in athletes and minds of the world. Just because they play sports, people think one way, but they're masters, they're geniuses. I just started realizing that a few years ago. Watching those guys can really spark my creativity. Durant was also asked about Kobe in general, and Durant said, he's the greatest of all time. His skill is second to none. Him and MJ are neck and neck as far as skill. Kobe's the top 2 best ever in just having skill, footwork, shooting the 3, shooting the pull-up, posting up, dunking on guys, and ball handling. Kobe and Jordan are 1 and 1A. Now with that being said, with KD and LeBron having a history of going back and forth over the years, Durant was also asked why he didn't include James in the debate, and he said, I like to put these dudes in there when they retire. That's when I really want to evaluate their careers. But as far as talent in today's NBA goes, there's one player who stands out the most to Kevin at this point in time, and that's Giannis Antetokounmpo. Durant said, the Greek freak I think is a force. I've never seen anything like him. His ceiling is probably, he could end up being the best player to ever play if he really wanted to. That's pretty scary to think about. He's by far my most favorite player to watch. Now with Joel Embiid being known for his on-court antics, trash-talking other superstars, and of course his social media posts, once again he had a completely different take than most when it came to the greatest of all time debate. Rather Once again, he had a completely different take than most when it came to the greatest of all time debate. Rather than MJ, LeBron, or even Kobe being considered, when Joel sat down with The Ringer, he went in depth about who's really the GOAT to him, and he said, to me, you got Wilt Chamberlain. He has all the records. They're never going to be beaten. I don't see anybody getting 100 points in a game. That's it. He's the GOAT. And also in an interview with Bleacher Report, Embiid doubled down on this, once again saying, to me, the GOAT has always been Wilt Chamberlain. He would have been dominant in this era. So with Allen Iverson completely revolutionizing the game during his era, he's often been considered one of the better point guards in NBA history due to his ridiculous scoring ability. And that's what also makes his opinion extremely credible when debating who's the best players of all time, because he as well faced many of the top players ever, going up against Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James. But with that being said, AI chimed in on the debate and said, alright, I have to weigh in on this GOAT conversation. I have to. I'm hearing a lot of people these days fronting like they have LeBron over Mike. Man, listen, first of all, I love LeBron. I have nothing but love for LeBron. That's the best player of his generation, one of the best ever. A great husband, great father, great role model, and it's even beyond that. What he's doing with that school in Akron, it's a beautiful thing. But y'all, we're talking about Mike. We're talking about Mike, okay? We're talking about Black Jesus himself. And I don't really have much more to say beyond that. Mike is the GOAT. Mike is always gonna be the GOAT. And please don't even insult me with any of this stats AI business. Like you have a chance of changing my mind. Also in an interview with The Unguarded, Iverson did explain how he doesn't understand the fact that Kobe Bryant is so often snubbed from this debate. In an Instagram post, AI said, what bothers me is when they compare LeBron to Mike. I don't understand how they don't have the debate with Kobe. Like I don't get it, you forgot or something? They forgot? I really think they forgot the Mamba, man. Now with James Harden having an insane run over the last few seasons, winning MVP and averaging nearly 40 points per game the following year, he also had some choice words when talking about who he believes is the greatest of all time. Harden said Kobe Bryant, Wilt Chamberlain, and Jordan. Now we're talking about the elites of the game, the greatest to ever touch a basketball. It's honorable to be up there with those names. Honestly, I have a long way to go. I'm not even close to what they accomplished in their careers, but it's pretty cool to be in that conversation and almost there, but I have a lot of work to do. That's one of the reasons you play the game of basketball. To be, when it's all said and done, mentioned as one of the greats that's ever dribbled a basketball. Whether it's Wilt, whether it's Jordan, and the list goes on. Obviously you want to win championships and want the individual accomplishments, but every day when I'm in the gym and work on moves, I think about that. When I'm done, whenever that is, I want my name up there with them. It's a good place to be in. Now prior to James going off in 2017, he had already let the world know he felt he was the best player in the league. When he said, I feel like I'm solid in everything. IQ, studying the game, I can score the basketball, make my teammates better. There are not a lot of guys that have all of those characteristics in one. They might be way more athletic, can shoot the ball way better, but everything's solid in one human body? You can ask all those top guys who the best player is, of course they're gonna say themselves. Because as a basketball player, you're confident in your craft. It's not taking shots at anybody, it's confidence. Now Draymond recently sat down with the shop to discuss the Warriors, LeBron, and is picking the debate of the greatest of all time. Draymond even admitted that although him and LeBron aren't best friends and have had their ups and downs, he wants LeBron to tell the world that he's the best basketball player ever. Draymond summed up this debate by saying, I think you should say that, I think you should believe that, and you should definitely let the world know that. I think Bron over the last 4 years became LeBron James, and it wasn't nothing to do with winning, it wasn't nothing to do with stats. He found himself. People didn't start to view him as they view him now until he became that force, that man to say, I'm here. I feel like for years he shied away from saying I'm here, and when he started to say, I'm here, that's when he became who he is. No one would have ever said that until he did it himself. So many people shy away from that, and that's why they never reach their full potential. Now with Michael Jordan being considered the greatest of all time among the masses due to his 6-0 NBA Finals record, with MVPs in each of those, 10 scoring titles, and even averaging over 30 points per game his entire career, MJ himself had an interesting take when he was asked in an interview if he actually wanted the title of greatest ever. He said, I don't want it in a sense because I think it disrespects Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, all the guys that were prior to me. I never had a chance to play against. What everybody is saying I am, I never had the chance to compete against other legends that was prior to me. When I hear it, I cringe a little bit because it's a little bit embarrassing because no one knows. I never had the chance to once again play against those guys. I would love to have played against them, but I never did. And for you to say that I'm better than them, I mean it's your opinion, it's their opinion. I accept it as their opinion. If you ask me, I would never say I'm the greatest player. That's because I never played against all the people that represented the league prior to Michael Jordan. Now with LeBron James being thrown in this debate ever since a young age at the early stages of his career, he had a completely different take when it came down to it. According to LeBron himself, when he sat down and talked on ESPN's More Than an Athlete, he discussed his opinion on the GOAT conversation and brought up winning a championship for Cleveland in 2016. James said, that one right there made me the greatest player of all time. That's what I felt. I was super ecstatic to win one for Cleveland because of the 52-year drought. The first wave of emotion was when everyone saw me crying. Like that was all for 52 years of everything in sports that's gone on in Cleveland. And after I stopped, I was like, that one right there made you the greatest player of all time. Everybody was just talking how the Warriors were the greatest team of all time, like it was the greatest team ever assembled. And for us to come back, you know, the way we came back in that fashion, I was like, you did something special. That's probably one of the only times in my career I felt like, oh, like you did something special. I haven't really had time to like sit back and think, but that was a moment. Even Skip Bayless, who's become widely known for his criticism of LeBron James year after year, had a lot to say about this on Undisputed after the clip was released public. Skip said, when I first watched this video last night, and I don't do this very often, I laughed out loud. And then in the next wave of emotion, I felt sorry for LeBron James. There's no law against being publicly delusional, especially when you're sitting with your childhood friends. He's saying because they pulled off an upset, that makes you the greatest player ever? Just because you pulled that off? Think about this. Michael Jordan went 6-0 in the finals with 6 MVPs. That's hard to do. LeBron's still 3-6 in the finals. And wait a second, how did Michael Jordan win 10 scoring titles to LeBron's 1 scoring title? And LeBron has the audacity to tell his buddies that one upset made me the greatest? Really? Stop it. Now with Scottie Pippen being Jordan's teammate for years, he often gets the question on who he personally believes is the GOAT between Mike and LeBron James. Recently he was asked again of his perspective on the debate, and Pippen said, I'm gonna give you my honest answer and I hope I never get this question again. There's really no comparison. Michael Jordan played in an era where the game was different. It was being refereed different than what LeBron is playing in. LeBron plays a different role than what Michael played as a player. In all fairness to Michael, he was never asked to do the things that LeBron does for his team. He had a lesser role, and statistically, that's why you're seeing LeBron's numbers are far better than Michael Jordan's numbers in terms of what he does the whole game. Because we didn't utilize Michael.
I mean, I don't think his numbers are far better. I mean, they're a little better. You got a little more all-around stats, but they're not far
do things
better.
that the Cavs utilize LeBron for. The comparison is unfair. They play different positions. I know a lot of times we love answering the question because we want to hear the storylines behind it, but the truth of the matter is it's not a fair comparison to LeBron or Michael. One guy is considered a 2 guard and one guy is considered a small forward. They definitely are great in their era. They're both the greatest in their era. But to say who's the greatest of all time, we'll never know that. In my eye, Wilt Chamberlain's the greatest basketball player ever. But Michael and LeBron should never be compared. It's almost like comparing Kareem to me. That wouldn't be fair. Shortly after LeBron James claimed himself as the best player ever, Scottie Pippen once again got a little frustrated about this, and he said, "My problem more so with LeBron is if you're the greatest player, if people are saying you're the greatest player, or if people are saying Michael Jordan is the greatest player, why do you need to say it? Michael Jordan has never ever said he's the greatest player to ever play the game. Why? He's respected all the other players before him, so for LeBron to say that, he's sort of putting himself out of it, because you can't say you're the greatest player. You have to allow your peers in the world to say it. I think it's pretty great that a guy won 3 titles, left for 2 years, and came back and won 3 more. Winning ultimately decides who the greatest players are in the game. Now with Anthony Davis shocking the world, demanding a trade from New Orleans, with him finally being dealt to LA this summer, it made the upcoming season that much more interesting. But with that being said, AD gets to pair up with his inspiration growing up of LeBron James, who many consider one of the best in the game as well. And with many insiders wondering which of the two would take a backseat approach to the game to let the other shine, Davis sat down with Sports Illustrated to talk about this, and he said, "I'm the best in the world. I think I do a lot of things that a lot of players can't do as far as playing a complete game. I could play on the block, play on the perimeter, play defense on both ends, switch 1 through 5, guard, score the basketball. I want to be the most dominant player in the game, and I'm going to continue to do that." Obviously you have players like Kawhi, KD, LeBron, Steph, all those guys who are the same way. They're great players, talented players, Hall of Famers, and that's what makes our game fun. Everyone wants to be the best in the league. Everyone wants to be the most dominant, and that's when our competitive edge comes out on the floor and makes the game so fun to watch. Now go check out the best NBA players of each jersey number this season.
Very humble answer from my boy Anthony Davis, man. But if you guys enjoyed this reaction, let me know what other reactions you want me to react to. Make sure you click on the last reaction on your screen right now. Turn on post notifications. Links in the description, man. And I'm out of here, man. Turn on post notifications. I already said that, damn. Damn.